Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. It's time for our monthly challenge review. You're back here with me, Jessica McGovern, with some form of an award-winning portrait photographer, but also randomly got a gold for an ICM, so yeah. Strange things are happening, progressing, learning, doing all of the things, and I think that that's really good. So that is the aim of these review sessions. If you're new here, consider hitting the subscribe button. If anything in this video helps you, please hit the like button because that's really helpful, and just have a chit chat in the comments below. This is the 22nd monthly challenge review, which just shows how long we've been doing this for. And I really think that it has helped some people. If it's helped you, please do let us know. Did it help? Have you learned something from the challenge reviews? Because if nobody learns anything, there's literally no point in us doing them. So that would be great to know. As always with our challenge review videos, we cannot go through every single person. It's literally impossible because this video would be about 1,000 years long. That's an over-exaggeration, but you get the gist. So we're going to go through the grouping method, and I have all of the entries on the screen here for April's monthly challenge. April's monthly challenge, if you don't remember, was leading lines. So the aim of the game is to create lines in an image, use natural lines, man-made lines, utilize those lines, utilize those, can't even, crazy times. Utilize those natural lines in the image to point at or towards the subject. And that's a very, very important point of this entire challenge review. So if you're not aware of what the challenge review is, I would probably recommend going ahead and revisiting the website page. You know what, I'll link the web page for the monthly challenges above so that you can kind of follow along with what the point is. But we're going to go through these entries, group them up into little batches and discuss. This is only my opinion. My opinion is literally only my opinion, so you can take it or you can leave it, and that's absolutely fine. I think you guys tried really, really hard this month, and I'm totally here for it. So we're going to walk through these. Some of them, I don't know whether they were meant to be entered. Some of them, I think that they maybe were suited to a different challenge. So I'm going to update the how to enter guidelines. So be very careful if you're going to skip to the end and enter the next challenge, which is absolutely fine, but I would recommend watching this. If you're going to do that, then please go and check the entry instructions because we're tweaking them slightly. Also, extremely important that you check the spelling of the hashtag. It is challenge, not challenge, okay? I've picked one entry out from challenge. It should have been in challenge. You'll know who you are. Okay, so English aside, because sadly, that's the only language that I speak in any way well. Am I even good at English? Okay, so on the screen right now, we can see the entries that we've pulled up for this challenge. If your entry is not on the screen, chances are it was not entered correctly, or you entered multiple images, in which case we're just going on a zero tolerance for kind of not including them, which is a bit brutal, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. And these take me hours to do. And so, you know, we're all here for efficiency. On the screen is everything that was entered, and they're all freaking amazing. Like, oh my goodness. Really, really well done, guys. Loving the imagination, loving the creativity. I know a lot of you tried new things for this. So super, super, super well done. Okay, so I've included this image down in the bottom right. We're going to take it out straight away, sadly. Okay, you'll know who you are. You entered a different image as well. I really, really wish you had entered this image, but you didn't. And I want to raise the point of this image first and foremost. This is an absolutely fantastic leading lines challenge entry, okay? We've got no blown highlights. It's super impactful. The lines, literally, there are so many lines leading to the subject. So we'll learn how to look at leading lines here, okay? So we've got line coming in, line coming in, line coming in, line coming in. Therefore, by defunct, this is also a line coming in. This side of the road is a line coming in. This side is also a line coming in. The grass is lines coming in, technically two are either side. And then you have a background that is non-distracting. This is a fantastic image. Sadly, it was not entered into the monthly challenge, so we cannot consider it for review. But I want to hopefully utilize that to show you what leading lines can do, right? What they can be like. So we'll start there, and then we'll go through and look at these images. So I've grouped them up. I've got a little sticky note. You guys can just see that, I think. I did check. I've got a little sticky note which is telling me what my groups are because I always forget. So we're going to start with red. Red includes images that have lines in, but they're not particularly leading lines, or they don't fall into leading lines at all. So those are these images on the screen. Some of them have got super lines in. I would argue that this one has a line coming into the subject, but it's not enough. It's more of a beautiful natural frame. This one as well does have lines, but they're not really pointing at anything. So I feel like we're kind of going in a bit of a different direction. So that is red group. Yellow group is we're jumping straight in here, aren't we? Okay, Picky Patricia is going to be out, but hopefully I'm providing constructive critique in a constructive way. So yellow, yes, yellow is... There is a lot to look at in these images, okay? They all include leading lines, okay? This one, I guess, will probably be the least of the leading lines down here. This one, we've got at least some lines coming in. This one is actually really imaginative. At first, I was like, that's not a leading line. And then I was like, actually, hold up. All lines do point to the dog. There's also a bit tight on the composition, but it's more a case that there's just a lot going on in these. Really, we needed there to be a little bit more separation from the background, maybe a cleaner background, just a little bit less kind of going on to really focus our eyeballs at where we needed to look, right? So that's yellow. I love you guys. Yellow is that group. Green, really low. A number of people in green group this month. Green group is all to do with kind of like more of like editing and retouching. This one, I think this is actually really interesting use of a leading line, because the line, the lead, the leash, the rope is the leading line. And I actually think that's quite imaginative, and I'm here for it. This one, I struggled with the leading line. A line straight across usually isn't a leading line, but these mossy rocks coming in are a leading line. But yeah, let's just have a quick look at the editing side of it. So, Instagram screenshots, pinch of salt, quality-wise. The white balance is not correct. So the dog is blue, okay? So I'm just gonna link above to the 2 slider trick to just check your white balance. So that would solve this situation. So the white balance should be somewhere around about here. And that would be technically correct white balance. So the white balance is a bit off on this one. By the way, if you're wondering how to use Lightroom so speedily to do different things, including organization, there is now a legitimate online course for that. So finally, after so much pressure from you guys, thank you so much, we've released the Lightroom for Beginners course. So that is out now, available for enrollment. This one, for me, I feel like I'm just drawn straight up to this top part of the mountain because it is the lighter part. Of course, the dog is having a nap down there, but what I really would have liked is for the foreground to be a little bit brighter in comparison to everything else, and then we would have looked. So, just utilizing Lightroom's masking features, again, covered in that Lightroom for Beginners course, in quite a lot of detail, to just go ahead and pull up this foreground to have a little bit more going on in it. So, if you look at that now, we've gone from the before to the after, and yes, it's not a perfect blend. Yes, I would peel off the mountains a little bit, but hopefully you can see that now your eye goes a little bit more to the dog and less so to everything else. So this one is kind of a white balance thing again. So do you see little doggo is very blue? Dogs tend to not be blue. So we really want to equalize off the white balance in the shade, and we get to around about here. So that is technically the correct white balance. This one here, I really love this. I think this is a super short, really creative. It's just been a little bit over processed. So it's just been a bit overcooked in terms of the color and the kind of haloing almost that's happening around the edges of this bridge. There's a few areas where the highlights are a little bit hot. I love the concept. I would love to see more. It's just a little bit too much going on. So that takes us back to the main grouping. So then we end up with the blue group. So blue group is all about composition and posing, okay? Nobody did anything really wrong in this group. Nobody did anything wrong in any of the groups, but this group, nobody did anything wrong. It's just a little bit, we just need a little bit more from it. We just need a little bit, and then they'd have gone straight up into the next group. So this one with this little bubba, dog's looking off to the left-hand side, kind of looking at us, but we just needed either a straight subject looking straight at us or more space to the other side, which would have worked because we've got leading lines coming in. So that is an option. Also, potentially look at the white balance in this one. Looks like there's a lot of colors going on, but night photography always hard. This one here, sorry, forgot to make them big, do apologize. This one here is gorgeous, love it. Would have loved the leading lines in this one. I just wish that the subject was not so side on, because it removes the leading line that's coming around the back. If the subject was here, straight, sat, lied, whatever it was, just kind of straight, you can see that this fence goes like wraps around the subject, and wrapping around that would have been so successful as a leading line. I'm not going to go through every single image. This one we could have just done with a little bit more straightness from the subject, ideally to complement the straightness of the lines in the scene. Some of them are a little bit tight. This one's a little bit tight, top and bottom, just need a little bit more room. This one, again, too tight on the bottom. We're just super, super close to the bottom there. So just give the subject that room to breathe. Room to breathe. Really, really important. So that is blue group. Can't go through it anymore apart from this one because I feel like I need to mention it. This would have been freaking amazing, right? Whoever was the photographer of this, if the dog was here in the middle. And I'm really tempted to do a tutorial on how to move a subject because this would be so easy to do, so easy and quick, and just whoop, squish them over there. So whoever the photographer of this photograph is, I would really, really love to utilize the high resolution JPEG image from this photograph to do a tutorial on moving the subject. So if that is you, then please hit me up. That would be great. You can start in the comments and then we'll go forwards if we need to. Okay, so Unflagged Grey is, I can't really fit you into a camp, but I just needed more of the leading lines, more of the real focus on the subject here. Some of them, like this one, I think is so sweet. I could not put you into the final camp, which I feel really bad about, to be honest. I feel bad about all of this. This, I think, is really imaginative use of the concept of leading lines. It just looks a little bit bright. It lacks a bit of contrast. This one, which is a nice landscape to have in the camp, I want to follow the line and go here, but I'm going here because this is a lighter section of the image. So this really needed to come down so that we're focusing on where this line is actually leading us to go. So it's just not quite enough here, but really, really great. Purple group, these guys, all of these include a leading line. Okay, all of them include at least one. In some cases, it's multiple. I think this is actually really creative use of the concept. The leading line is actually kind of the shadows coming up, which I think is really creative. Some of them, the lines are just a little bit soft. Most of them though, it's about subject placement. Okay, so some of them are just freaking gorgeous, like this one. I think this is beautiful, and all of them could have been in the final shortlist. This one, I just wish the subject was slightly to the left-hand side, so they're in that gap for the leading line, because that's beautiful. This one is the background, it's just a little bit much for me. This one, if the subject was sat slightly further back here, then the leading line would be bringing everything together, whereas I'm getting taken to here. So all of these are amazing. Moving on up into the final shortlist. So this is my shortlist. This is no issues in terms of pretty much anything, but really good use of leading lines. So all of these have got great lines in. Some of them are just standout, freaking gorgeous shots and deserve 100% credit. So anybody that's in this group, massive, massive pat on the back. Some of these lines are so perfectly done that even I could not do them. So that's in this group, guys. And you honestly all should be so proud of yourself. Now, I have gone and whittled it down to a shortlist, which is these guys. Okay, so if you're in this group, this shortlist, then you've knocked this one completely out of the park. The lines in this, the focus on the subject because of the natural lines is fantastic. And I think that they've been really well done. There's a couple that are interesting because the lines aren't like diagonal, they're not like pointing at something, but they are. This one I think is freaking gorgeous. We have the leading lines coming from the floor, coming to this point where the subject's head is slap bang above it, but also we have this line in the background, which usually I would say is more of a framing element rather than a line. However, it coincides directly with the dog's tail, which lifts us up to the subject's head. That is so creatively done and really well executed that you deserve top props. All of these are incredible, incredible images, and all of them are just gorgeous. So then it comes to, who do we allocate our pins to? Where do we go with our pins? We've got to distribute the gold pin, the silver pin, and the bronze pin, which need to go to 3 of the photographers in this set. And this is the bit where I always get stuck, like super, super, super stuck. And I've looked at these in detail for a while, and I feel confident with the decision that I'm going to make, and I will walk through the reasoning for that decision. So, gold, because we've got these gorgeous lines in dead central. This is so really well done, and it's a perfect point of capture, which is actually really difficult to achieve, especially with the subject that close, which you can tell because of the depth of field. So this one is gold. Silver, leading lines, got to be thinking of the leading lines, right? Silver. Also, no blown highlights in anybody's, by the way. So 22 months on, we've absolutely nailed blown highlights, and I love that. I love you guys for that. I love you all for that. Okay, so we've got gold and silver. We need a bronze, and for me, I'm gonna go for it purely because it's creative use, and I think it's really, really good. I'm going for bronze. Okay, so we've got gold, silver, and bronze. Now you might be thinking, Jess, did you know this? You are completely wrong. In which case, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I would love to know yours. So we've got 2 rows here, top row, bottom row, and we go from the left. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So bottom row, 1, 2, 3, top row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. So what I want to know is, who would your gold pin, bronze pin, silver pin be? That's what I want to know. So let's go and see who these photographers are. Everybody who's in this final list genuinely deserves like huge adoration and high fives and everything, because, you know, I think you're all amazing. By the way, I just want to highlight something on this one because I forgot to mention it earlier. I think this is great. This one could have won the entire thing. However, it was just too obvious to me that the sides of the image had been flipped. So that is something that I would love the photographer to have a look at. So for example, this dark patch here is the same as this dark patch here, and I just would like to not know that it was a duplication, that's all. So that's just something for the photographer to look at. This is blooming gorgeous. I love that, but these are my picks. So we've got gold pin, bronze pin, and silver pin. Let's go and see who they are. Okay, so Renata Zudemar, I mean, I'm not surprised, to be fair, takes the gold pin. Congratulations, 100% well deserved. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Sweden. Do we pronounce J's in Sweden? I cannot remember. Would it be, yeah. Do you know what? I'm not even going to try, but I would really love it if you could tell me the correct pronunciation of your name, because I don't want to offend you by getting it completely wrong. So this one over here with this wonderful person taken in Sweden, took the silver pin, and then this one over here from Foxy Photos, Montreal in Canada, took the bronze pin, and I still think that this is freaking amazing. You guys, absolutely amazing work. Congratulations. Please do drop us an email to ask for your pins so that you can put the little pin graphic on your images and share them if you want to. But also, we would love to include your images inside of Tog Talk, which is our premium members only magazine. However, if you feature in it, you also get that copy. So if that's something you're interested in, please do let us know. We would love to hear from you. Congratulations again. Do you know what? Congratulations to just everybody, because I think that you're all so amazing and everybody deserves huge well done. But we can't stay on this topic for too much longer, because it's time to look at the May challenge. Now, the May challenge is one that I'm thinking might not have many entries, but I really want you guys to try and do it if you can. The May challenge is self-portrait, and for self-portraits, you don't need to be identifiable, okay? You just need to be in the photo, and the photo needs to be obviously a portrait focusing on the subject, which needs to be you. Now, you could be with an animal, you could be by yourself, you could be non-identifiable. I'm not saying that you need to go and create a whole studio set for yourself and take the most amazing photo, although you can if you want to. But what I want to see is you in your images, okay? So I want you to take a picture of you. Now, there's different ways to take self-portraits. It varies depending on the camera maker model. The easiest way of doing it is to go ahead and set your camera on a timer and then get into a position and pose for the photo. It's very important to make sure that you are focused correctly. If you're using one of the newer cameras, you'll probably have a phone app that you can connect to your camera and that you can operate so that you can take the picture. You can also get remote systems if you want to purchase something. I'm not saying that you have to at all. To do this, then you can do that. You might need to pre-focus and then switch your lens on manual focus. You may need to turn off back button focus so that when you trigger the shot from your phone or from a different trigger, the autofocus is enabled with the shutter, which is what's being pressed by those apps. The information that I've just said is quite useful. So if you get a bit lost, come back to this specific point in the video and hopefully that will help. Be creative in your portrait, be creative in the location, be confident as best as you can. I know it's very scary and it's horrible to be the other side of the camera, but actually the more shots you take, the more you get into it and the more you realize actually it's not so bad. So it's really important as well to capture photographs of you with your animals. If that's what you have, if you have pets, then maybe consider integrating them into the image. But I would probably recommend going out twice. Number one is your practice shoot. Number one tests the technology that you've got available. Can you take a picture? Can you take a sharp picture without being at your camera? If you can, great. Then you go out for number two. Number two is your actual portrait that you're capturing. So in this one, maybe put slightly more pressure on yourself to create a cracking shot. But on the first one, definitely don't. You're just there to practice. And practice is brilliant. You can go out as many times as you want, but you can only enter one image. And the difference in this month and forward on the entries is that I need you in the description of the post. It has to be in the description, okay? When you're posting your entry to Instagram, in the description, I need you to put in there the challenge topic, okay? So it could be self-portrait. All I need you to do is put the word self-portrait in there, then I know definitely this image is for that challenge. If self-portrait or the title of the future challenge isn't in the description, your entry will not be counted. Okay, I get lost with all of the entries. It just is going to make things a little bit easier, a little bit more streamlined, and so that I can critique images that you actually want critiquing, not random images that you're posting on the internet. So that is that. I'm really looking forward to seeing May's entries. All of the entry instructions will be in the blog post, which I'll link below, because yeah, they'll all be in there. So you may as well check them out. And that was April's challenge review. Bit of a fast one actually. Amazing work. Loved it. Loved seeing it. Loved you all. Hope you're all safe and well. And I'll see you all really soon.